Two's gone. Pull it up. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to Cooper Field in Washington, D.C. We're in our nation's capital this evening, where the Georgetown Hoyas and the Maryland Terrapins are set to square off on the football field in a women's lacrosse matchup. And all eyes on the Terrapins tonight. They come in number 3 in the nation. They've ascended over the last few weeks after dominant wins over ranked opponents. First Syracuse up in the Carrier Dome. And then the University of Virginia right back at home at CQ Stadium for the first time in a couple years. The Terps got it done 17-9. And now they're at number 3. They trail just Stanford at number 1 and UNC, who won the national championship last year, at number 2. Then it's the Terps. They're in all black tonight. They've got the same 12 out there that they've rolled out the entire season, and they go against the Georgetown Hoyas in a battle of the 2-0 teams. One team will have their undefeated season ended tonight. Right here on WMUC Sports, I'm Peter Kelly alongside Nick Polinsky, and Nick Coleman is on the sideline for us tonight. Teams are on the field. Again, Maryland in their all-black, gold numerals on the back. They've got the Maryland flag patchwork down the leg. And for the Georgetown Hoyas, they are in all white with navy numerals on the front and back and a navy Hoyas across the chest. In goal for the Georgetown Hoyas this evening is the 2-year team captain Leah Wareheim, the graduate student from Finksburg, Maryland. And in goal for the Terrapins, who else but the junior J.J. Soriano. She's been sensational this year, had one of the best games that any goalkeeper has had this year against Syracuse, 16 saves, allowing just 5 goals. In the center circle is Gracie Driggs for Georgetown and Kayla Gilmore for Maryland. The ball is cradled between the sticks and the opening draw control about to commence. The referee's arm goes up, it's loose. There's a violation and it will go with Maryland. Check that, it goes with Georgetown. So Georgetown's going to start out with possession in this one. It's on the near side, cutting back towards the middle. Pass goes in to Ziegler. Ziegler dishes right hash. Lauren Steer now in the corner. It's in the stick of Kendall Steer. At the top of the play is Gracie Driggs, now to the left hash. Reagan Ziegler, they swing it around, now in the end zone. Georgetown reading left to right. Molly Davies flings it across towards the far pylon. Now driving inside is Ann McGovern. McGovern to the left hash, now to the center. Flips it back, here comes Loschert, Sophia Loschert. Backs out, good defense by Maryland's Corey Edmondson. Loschert now brings it behind the cage, 1 minute gone by. Scoreless at Cooper Field in Washington, D.C. They swing it up top. It's now with Lauren Steer from Lutherville. Steer to the left hash, now backs it out, now drives inside. Dishes it to Cutting inside the front of the goal, but it's taken away by Maryland. Only for a second, though, as Georgetown is actually the team that comes up with it. The ball was on the ground, but Maryland could not get the big ground ball. So it's still with McGovern and the Hoyas. Tries to throw it to Driggs in front of the net, but it's taken away by the Terps. So they weather the storm on that first possession, use almost all 80 seconds of that shot clock, and they do come away empty-handed. So now Maryland will push it. Schaefer had the ball on her stick. Now it's up the field with Kayla Gilmore. Gilmore's going to wait for her team to reset. Flings it to Edmondson. Edmondson to the far side. Now behind goal with LaPointe. LaPointe quickly to Dupac. They swing it up top. Edmondson. Stutter step, shimmy shake. Now over to Gilmore. Gilmore drives right hash. Stops the attack. Now flings it over to LaPointe. Behind the cage is Lipkin. They swing it once more to Shanahan. Now it's Gilmore driving inside. She didn't have the angle, so she flips it back behind goal with LaPointe. The Georgetown bench loving it, but a beautiful find inside. Stopped by Leah Wareheim for Georgetown, but Maryland will retain possession. Big opening save for the Georgetown keeper. But Maryland stopping the Georgetown clear, so they have possession. Shanahan's got it. She's marked one-on-one by Steer. Steer gives a bump. Shanahan still got it. The righty moves back across goal, now to the right hash. And she throws it away past the stick of Edmondson. Edmondson runs back and does retrieve it. 30 on the shot clock. Edmondson gives a shake, shakes off the defender, drives inside, trying to get past the third defender, and she lost it. So Edmondson tried to do it all, but she loses it as she had one more woman to beat, and Georgetown gets the takeaway.
Both teams with some stout defense near the crease early. Georgetown now come with their second chance.
So now Georgetown's got it for their second possession. 3 minutes have gone by here in the first quarter. Again, Peter Kelly and Nick Polinsky are with you here on WMUC Sports on site at Cooper Field in Washington, D.C. Behind the cage is Loschert. Sophia Loschert brings it back out to Davies. Davies, the freshman from Summit, New Jersey, drives inside, and a good defense by Maryland. She flips it. Steer now behind the cage. McGovern. McGovern defended by Maryland's Schaefer. And McGovern. Deeks left now goes right, fires a shot low, and it's stopped away by Soriano. Ball's loose on the ground, and Georgetown is going to come away with it. So both teams struggling to get the clear off of the first initial shot. It's another second chance opportunity for the Hoyas. Driving in is Ziegler. Ziegler gives it. Blix has it on the far side. Now it's with Ann McGovern. McGovern getting a pick. Now another one. To the top of the field with Loschert. Loschert drives inside, lost the defense, but she lost the ball as well. Georgetown coming up with it. However, Maryland unable to clear it. Here's Ann McGovern off the handoff from Davies. McGovern trying to take off the defense. Cutting inside was Ziegler, and she couldn't get it to her. But Georgetown getting another opportunity. Maryland just unable to clear it. 10 minutes, 15 seconds to go in the first quarter. Still scoreless on the score sheet between the Hoyas and the Terrapins. At the top of the key, Driggs fired a shot inside. Soriano turns it away. It's loose and still loose. Both teams running after it, and it is Georgetown who gets the ground ball. Gracie Driggs keeps possession, but she throws it to nobody. So there is some confusion about whose ball this will be. It seems like just miscommunication there. Driggs just threw it to nobody. She seemed to maybe think her teammate was going to zig when her teammate actually zagged.
Looked like one of the referees had raised the shot clock back to 60, and that's what they'll decide on. So Georgetown will retain possession. I believe that's where the confusion was.
So an interesting one for sure. 9:59, the clock is stopped, and it will soon resume. Into the game is Maryland's Lila Ingrilli, the freshman from Wantagh, New York. Slots right in on defense. Marks up Ziegler. At the top of the play is Blix. Now to the left side, Loschert. Behind the cage, Davies. Now far side, here comes Steer. Steer stutter step, backs it out. Cutting inside to Ziegler. Soriano maybe got a stick on it. In any event, it goes back out through the end zone. Georgetown the closest to it, so they do retain possession. They've had the ball for about 2.5 minutes of game time at this point. Maryland just unable to get the ball back. Here's Ann McGovern. 10 points this year, the leader on the year for the Hoyas. Now to the far side, Blix. Down to the low corner. Whistle blown, and there's a violation on Maryland. So it's going to set up a free possession opportunity for Georgetown. Can they convert on their first of the day? It's going to be Danica Blix. Blix charges in from the left hash, now moves back to the right. She couldn't get a shot off. Corey Edmondson, the woman there from Maryland. And UMD survives the first free possession opportunity given to the Hoyas. So finally, after almost 3.5 minutes of game time, Maryland will get their second possession of the evening. Clock stopped at 8 minutes 50. Still scoreless here at Cooper Field. 0 for the Terrapins and 0 for the Hoyas. Again, the Terrapins in their road blacks with the gold numerals, red Terrapins across the chest. For the Hoyas, they're in their home whites with the navy numerals on the front and the back, and navy Hoyas across the chest. This evening in the first quarter, the Terps move left to right. They're scoring on the right goal. And the Hoyas are moving right to left. They're scoring on the left goal. Bring it across midfield is Maryland's Nev O'Farrell. She now brings it across the clearance line. And now Maryland will reset the possession. Kayla Gilmore's got it in her cradle. To the near side with Keely Block, the transfer in from UPenn. Down low the point, behind the cage to the swing woman. Mind back up top. Here comes Edmondson with some room. You don't want to give her that. Cuts inside the circle, now backs it back out. Block gives a stutter step, now back up top. Edmondson thought about the shot, instead swings it once more to the left to Shanahan. On the left wing, now back up top for Kaylee Block. Block's got two on her, but finds the wide open Kaylee Gilmore, and it's turned away by Wareheim. So when J.J. Suriano thought she may be the story of this game, it's actually the keeper in the other net. Georgetown's Leah Wareheim with two great saves to keep Maryland off the board.
Yeah, Maryland got a great look there as well, right in front of the crease, coming right down that lane, but just a great save by Wareheim, who had 129 saves last year and was a captain.
So now Georgetown's going to set up their third trip down to the left net. 0-0 still knotted. So we're now halfway through quarter number one, 7.5 gone, and 7.5 minutes to play in this first period. Women's lacrosse here at Cooper Field in Georgetown, Washington, D.C. Moving down low, now backing it out is Georgetown's Sophia Loschert. Back up top, now swinging far side. This is going to be with Ziegler. Reagan Ziegler moves past one, now thought about a shot. She couldn't get out of her stick. It stays with Georgetown, however. It's now with Lauren Steer. Lauren Steer up top for Gracie Driggs. Driggs, the most potent threat on this Georgetown offense. Whistle away from the ball, and it does seem like it will be another free play opportunity for Georgetown. So it's a free position chance for Georgetown's Gracie Driggs, their leading scorer from the past 2 seasons. Can Driggs open the scoring tonight? She's hunched over on the left hash, wearing number 2 in white. 6:53, the clock stopped. Maryland penalty goes on Corey Edmondson, so she will sit for 2 minutes. Driggs drives inside, tries a bouncer. It's turned away by Suriano. Georgetown there on the recovery, so they will get possession back. And they are on a power play as Edmondson has exited for 2 minutes of time. So Maryland down one of their best players in Corey Edmondson. 6.5 to play. Suriano 2 for 2 on stopping free position shots from Georgetown. But it does seem like the dam may break at some point with Maryland giving up all these opportunities. On the right hash, Ziegler now with McGovern. McGovern's defended over there by Nev O'Farrell. Up top, down low. High shot is turned away once more by J.J. Suriano. The brick wall in net for Maryland. It stays with Georgetown. This time they go low, and Ann McGovern opens the scoring for the Hoyas.
It's McGovern's 9th goal of the season in just 3 games. She had 5 goals on Valentine's Day against Towson. Recorded 21 goals and 50 total points last season. And as you said, it just felt like Georgetown was getting so many chances. And there, McGovern finally able to cash in on one.
So Ann McGovern finally gets the Hoyas on the score sheet. The Hoyas lead this one 1-0 over the 3rd-ranked Maryland Terrapins. And it's something you got to get used to, Nick. Ann McGovern takes almost 8 shots a game, so certainly she's going to have to be someone that the Terps mark up at all times. So after goal number 1, the Hoyas capitalize on the power play. They've still got a minute and game after the yellow card. There's a media timeout called. 2 minutes on that clock. Teams in their huddles. We will step aside here on WMUC Sports. Georgetown opens the scoring. They lead it 1-0 over the Terps. We welcome you back to Cooper Field at the campus of Georgetown University, where it's the Hoyas that lead the number 3 Terrapins. 1-0 your score after Ann McGovern scores the man-up goal at the 6:04 mark of the first quarter. Alongside Nick Polinsky and Nick Coleman, I'm Peter Kelly. And we've got just our second draw control of the evening. It took almost about 9 minutes of game time for the Hoyas to score a goal. They're actually known for their scoring in the early parts of games. Against American in their first contest, they opened the scoring on a 4-0 run. And against Towson in their second, they scored the first 6. So it's important that the Terps don't let this one get away from them. However, Georgetown will win the draw control, and they will move the other way. Again, they're on the left net. Standing in between the wickets for Maryland is Suriano, who's made 3 saves but let in her first goal of the evening. Georgetown's Ann McGovern. On the left hash is Gracie Driggs. Now gives it left side. Molly Davies motions it back. McGovern on the right hash. Now down low. Ziegler backs it back out. They swing it once more. Wanting motion to Sophia Loschert. Gives it over to Davies. Now far side, Betsy Burton, the freshman from Chatham, New Jersey. Down low, goal line with Lauren Steer. Behind the cage is Ziegler, lobbed all the way back up top for McGovern. Halfway through the shot clock. Left hash pass inside is tipped away and intercepted by the Terps.
There was another opportunity there for the Hoyas. Gracie Driggs was dashing down that lane. Looks like that one just clanked right off the frame of her stick and right into the stick of Suriano.
Maryland is unable to clear this one away. They do retain possession, however, and they will get back to full strength as Corey Edmondson will rejoin the fray after the 2-minute penalty. Good defense by Georgetown. They seem poised to take it away, and they do. Maryland gets it back, however. It's Edmondson on a drive. She picked up 3 defenders and lost it, but Maryland's Kristen Shanahan will retain possession for the Terrapins. Can they equalize? They trail it 1-0 after 10.5 minutes of play here in the first quarter. Keely Block on the right wing. Now down low, right goal line for the point. Behind the cage, now left goal line. Maryland still with it. Edmondson backs it out. A yellow card is shown. This one is shown to the Hoyas. So it does set up a Maryland free position shot after Georgetown had 2 in the early going and they couldn't convert on either. This time it's Corey Edmondson, about as sure as they come. Drives in from the left hash, takes a shot, and she missed the top of the cage. And Georgetown is there on the clear. So uncharacteristic from one of the best players in the nation, Corey Edmondson. She set up the shot, she had the time and the space off the free position, and she just sent it too high of the crossbar. It's a chance that she'd love to have back, and it's a chance that the Terps would love to have back. They now trail it 1-0, and Georgetown has the ball. 3.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. Again, here with you at Cooper Field at Georgetown University. Peter Kelly, Nick Polinsky, Nick Coleman, your crew for this evening, and we are so happy you are with us. 3:15 to play in the first. Georgetown's got it left wing. It's with Davies. Now up top for Burton. Right wing, now right goal line is McGovern. She wants to drive in. This is the shot that she loves. To the right hash, lobs it in front. Driggs tried to go behind the back, and she missed. Suriano may be credited with a save there, but Driggs just missed the cage. It would have been an unreal finish. BTB could have been seen on SportsCenter Top 10 later tonight. But instead, it's missed, and Georgetown was closest to the end line, so they get possession back. Steer lobs it up top for McGovern. 2:40 to play in the first. McGovern is turned away momentarily by Maryland's Annabella Schaefer. Now lobbed far side. Trying to drive down low is Loschert. Sophia Loschert lost it, and it goes back Maryland's way. Good defense by Maryland's Kennedy Major, the graduate student from Hampstead, Maryland. She forces the turnover there, and Maryland gets possession back, still looking for the equalizer. They trail it 1-0. They've got just over 2 minutes to go in the first to try and get that tying goal. Again, the Georgetown goal scored about 9 minutes in by Ann McGovern. Schaefer brings it across. Now she will exit the fray, and it's on the right wing with Keely Block. Up top, Devin Livingston for Maryland. Now they swing it left side. Lipkin to Shanahan. Shanahan drives left goal line. Goes behind the cage now. Wareheim keeping an eye on her. Lobbed in front. Shot missed again by Devin Livingston in Maryland. It's the second shot in a row that they've just gone too high. They maybe think that the cage is a couple inches taller than it actually is.
And Georgetown doing a great job hustling that back line to get possession off these Maryland misses. Hasn't allowed nearly as many second chances as the Terps have early on.
A minute 15 to go. 70 seconds on the shot clock, so that's about a 4-second differential. So Georgetown can effectively hold for the last shot. If they wind the shot clock all the way down, there's really not much Maryland can do. It seems like that is what they will do. The women in white. Driving in from the left side is Loschert. Now gives it to Steer, back to Loschert. She has a lane, drives to the left post, now goes right side, and she gets the second goal of the evening for the Hoyas. And Maryland, the number 3 team in the country, is in a 2-0 hole on the road.
This time it's the 2025 Big East Freshman of the Year, Sophia Loschert. Already 3 goals on the season, now make that her 4th. And Maryland, after 2 comfortable wins against ranked teams early on, a little slow out of the gate against the Georgetown Hoyas.
This is the second time that the Terps have been on the road this season, and the first test away from home, they passed with flying colors. At Syracuse, they won at 9-5. Suriano was dominant in the cage. Maryland got out hot. LaPointe had 5 goals, and they took it without really a contest. But now here, against an unranked opponent for the first time this season, and against the team that they have dominated historically against, they lead the all-time series 28-4. But at Cooper Field, where the Georgetown Hoyas have actually never beat the Maryland Terrapins, it's the unranked opponents, Georgetown, that lead it 2-0.
Georgetown's already got 8 shots, 5 of them on goal, compared to 4 shots from Maryland, just 2 on goal. Let's see if they can take a chance here, but that one dribbling out toward the back line. It'll be Georgetown possession, so another wasted opportunity by Maryland. And now right before the half, inside of 30 seconds, perhaps the Hoyas will have one more gasp.
Another sloppy possession from Maryland. It did seem like they really needed a goal in that last 40 seconds to at least draw a little bit closer after Georgetown has dominated the first 14 minutes. But Maryland just throws it away, trying to go too quickly, and now Georgetown can end the half. They've got 6 seconds remaining. With the head of steam is Davies, and she's not going to try it. Georgetown will take that first quarter any day of the week and twice on Sundays. They lead it 2-0 over the number 3 team in the country. And it is no small feat, that 2. But looking on the other side, that 0 is the number that tells the story. Maryland held off the board in the first quarter, Nick.
Yeah, it's just been a battle of hustle so far. Georgetown has done well with loose balls, 4 ground balls compared to just 2 from the Terps. Maryland just getting outworked right now, especially on their own defensive end. And Georgetown's created some second chances and taken full opportunity. It's kind of a point to what you say with that. They can't score if you keep the ball away from them, and they've done just that so far.
Minute 15 to go in this quarter break. It's the Hoyas that lead it 2-0 after goals from Ann McGovern and Sophia Loschert. We'll now bring you into the third member of our team tonight. It's Nick Coleman from the sideline. Nick, what do you have for us after observing that first quarter of play?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Something I want to keep in mind for this one is Maryland's transfers to watch. Kristen Shanahan came to College Park through way of Notre Dame and has proved to be productive for the Terps so far this year. Last week, she put up 1 goal and 6 assists against the University of Virginia. And another player I want to look at is Maryland's transfer is Keely Block. Block transferred from UPenn, from the Ivy League lacrosse teams over there. Both of these players have produced so far this year for the Terps, and Maryland may need to look to one of these players to turn around their luck early on 2-0 in this one.
Yeah, appreciate it, Nick. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. That's great stuff. It's a great point that Maryland want to be led on offense by those 2 transfers. We know what Corey Edmondson can do, leading scorer from last year, returning to this team, but having those 2 proven scorers in is huge for the Terps. I'll turn it over to you now, Nick. as the Terps find themselves in a 2-0 hole. Kathy Reese did not look happy in that first quarter timeout, and understandably so. Our team looking really poor right now.
Yeah, Reese, the 11-time Coach of the Year, 7 times in the ACC, 4 times in the Big Ten, has to get her team adjusted. And Georgetown will start with possession in the second half. It's Davies on the far side. And now she gives it off to McGovern. McGovern gets a good look, bouncing right in front of Soriano, but it's turned back. A hustle to the back line, and the Hoyas retain possession. It'll be McGovern to work out from behind the net. Now she gives it off. Lauren Steer now. Dishes one away. Now it's Dwyer working inside, and that one wide of the net. But another chance with Ziegler picking it up on the back end. Driggs now, 99 career goals. She dishes it off. Working into the crease, and Soriano turns back another one. Another shot attempt, and this time Soriano scoops it up. Now let's see if Maryland can finally work a sound offensive possession. As Neville Farrell will carry it the other way, and now dish it off.
Yeah, this would be the time to do it, Nick. If you were ever going to produce an A-grade offensive possession, it's got to be right here. And it's crazy to say that only a minute into the second quarter, but the Terps have looked awful, plain and simple. They trail it 2-0, and they haven't had anything going on offense.
Maryland now with Edmondson on the near side. Now they'll swing it around. Ball behind the net. It's LaPointe. LaPointe had her pass deflected. A battle for the ball, still on the ground. And it'll be Georgetown ball.
It's weird. It seems like Maryland is just completely out of their rhythm right now, and possessions are not getting deep in the 90-second shot clock. They're not really putting any shots on goal to challenge Leo Wareheim, and Georgetown's just forcing dispossessions on these lazy passes that aren't getting to their intended receiver. And credit to the Hoyas, too. They've shown up tonight completely ready to play, and so far I don't think the Terps have really matched their intensity.
Yeah, now just about 2 minutes into quarter number 2, 12 shots for the Hoyas and 4 for the Terps. And now Georgetown threatening again on their offensive end. Hoyas swinging around. Ball now with Ziegler. The Hoyas taking their time, have built into an offensive rhythm, and they're trying to keep it here. Ball behind the net now. It's McGovern. Getting to her left side. McGovern now will back it out. Being harassed by Edmondson. Does a good job to force it away. Loschert now dancing inside. She'll pass it off. Some stout defense early from the Terps. And now Steer trying to make her move. That one deflected near the crease. And Soriano scoops it up. J.J. Soriano. The Tellarton watch list recipient to start the year. And now it's Schaefer dashing to the other end. Annabella Schaefer will pass it off. Now Ava Mine going left to right behind the net. Kayla Gilmore will dish it off. And now Edmondson. Looked like she may have been loading up a shot there. She didn't take it. Livingston now. She'll pass it off. Maryland still playing around the net, but no real threat yet on this possession. Shanahan now trying to work inside. She spins away. She hits the deck, and she has the ball checked loose. So now Georgetown will grab possession once again. And that time only another possession just about 50 seconds in the shot clock. The Hoyas now sprinting the other way. Now they'll pull it back out. Molly Wood will get it to Danica Blix. Now it's McGovern. Behind the net now, Loschert. The Hoyas, just with some good ball movement so far, has been disrupting Maryland's defense. Now halfway through the shot clock and about 4.5 minutes into the quarter. Dancing inside, Loschert. And she was in the crease. The ball ended up in the back of the net, but Loschert breached Soriano's space. And now Maryland running the other way with Kayla Gilmore. Gilmore now to Edmondson. She had 4 goals her last time out versus Virginia. Was a 2025 first team All Big Ten. Lipkin now. Swung around the point. Maryland trying to get a look in that center lane. And now Keely Block tries to get her chance. Can't get it. Now a dish off to Edmondson. Maryland still unable to find a true offensive opportunity. They'll find Edmondson again. She'll find Gilmore. Gilmore goes right back to Edmondson. And we'll get a whistle and a violation. So now another chance for Maryland. And it'll be a free position. Whistle blows. Shot is saved by Wareheim. And she's right there to scoop it up. As Maryland once again squanders a golden opportunity. They've still been held scoreless through the first 6 minutes and change of quarter number 2.
One of the better saves we've seen tonight, Nick. Leah Wareheim off of the free position. Jordan Lipkin had a clear path to goal, got the shot she wanted. But Wareheim, the last woman on the fence, got in the way, and the woman between the pipes for Georgetown tonight has been great.
McGovern now. The Hoyles will back out and play their slowed down offense. They've been very methodical so far, but have taken their shots where they've had them. It's Loschert once again who gives it off to McGovern. McGovern now dancing inside. She's guarded nicely. And she'll be forced to give it away. Now Molly Davies. She's looking for a shot. Still has it. And she scores! Davies with 3 goals out her last game against Towson. Makes it a 3-0 lead here against the Terps.
Maryland just does not have an answer right now for this Georgetown attack, but credit to the Georgetown Hoyas. I think they're throwing some different looks at this Maryland defense that, frankly, after how dominant they were in the first 2 weekends, maybe got a little bit complacent. Again, there's still so much time left in this one, but 3-0, the Terps facing a hole unlike which they've seen before this year.
The shot discrepancy, now 15 shots and 10 on goal for the Hoyas. 5 shots and just still 2 on goal for the Terrapins. We'll take a short break with the Terps trailing 3-0 here at Cooper Field in the district. Back here in Washington, D.C. on the campus of Georgetown University. For more in this struggle to start for the Terps, here's Nick Coleman.
Yeah, guys, so the story so far in this one is exactly as you guys have been calling it. Maryland is being stifled by the Georgetown defense. When the Terps are on defense, they're giving up too much time and too many shots. The Hoyas are not letting the Terps breathe as they continue to pull this game forward 3-0.
Thanks, Nick. Just another stat to show that Maryland's just getting outworked right now. Ground balls. The Hoyas have 8. The Terps just have 3. They're getting beat in nearly every aspect of the game so far. And Soriano's played well in the net, but when that many shots are being put on target, there's only so much she can do. Some balls are just going to go by.
And Nick, one of the most important things for the Terps to get back on track is going to happen right now in the center circle.
Absolutely.
It's the draw control between Gracie Driggs for Georgetown and Kayla Gilmore for Maryland. The Terps got to have this one.
Gilmore has 10 on the season, the 2025 Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Ball in the air, now on the ground, and Georgetown scoops it up. It's Danica Blix. So Maryland struggling from the opening whistle till all those in between, as another draw control is won by the Hoyas. Now it's Davies. Just scored that 3rd goal of the game for the Hoyas. And now Georgetown will work it out from behind the net. It's McGovern directing traffic. McGovern probing and now dishes it off to Steer. Steer, 21 points this season to go. She'll pass it off. Now it's Lashert. Davies now. And we'll get a whistle. And a free position for the Hoyas. It'll be Driggs who loads up. Driggs rattles one into the back of the net. And Georgetown now leads 4-0 with 6:39 left in quarter number 2.
Nick, I don't know if this is a phrase I thought many people expected to hear tonight, but it's the Georgetown Hoyas piling it on to the Maryland Terrapins, who are ranked number 3 in the country. They lead it 4-0. Maryland is scoreless through the first quarter and a half of play. Meanwhile, Georgetown is really getting anything they want. 4 goals is not the highest number through this amount of time, but they're getting the looks that they want. And after they missed the first couple free position shots and they got their best player, Gracie Driggs, in the circle on that one, I think that they kind of knew that was going in. They've been kind of clicking on all cylinders here tonight.
Another key draw control here. Once again, Gilmore and Driggs. Ball in the air, and Georgetown once again with the win. It's Davies on the far side who will open the possession for Georgetown. McGovern now backs it out. And now behind the net is Lashert. Davies now again on the far side. Ball works around Betsy Burton now. And a good but clean hit from the Terps to knock it loose. It's Neville Farrell. And Maryland causes a turnover. Oh, Farrell absolutely rocked the Hoya, who was near that goal area. And now Maryland will have their chance to attack on the offensive end with 5:40 left in quarter number 2. Gilmore now works it to a point. Back to Gilmore. Edmondson now. Maryland still unable to get a great look so far. As now Gilmore dances, has it knocked loose. Maryland will scoop it back up with Ava Mine. Mine now gets it to the point, and we'll get a whistle and a foul on the Terrapins as LaPointe just lowered her shoulder into a Hoya defender. And Maryland with another huge error that now opens the door even further for Georgetown to possibly extend this lead to 5. It's McGovern now. Gives it off to Steer. It's a very cautious approach from the Hoyas, but they've been waiting to strike, and trying to strike here is McGovern. We'll get a foul on Nevo Farrell. And it's going to be a free position for the Hoyas. Here goes McGovern. McGovern, saved by Soriano. A big save to slow down the Georgetown offense for now. Now coming the other way are the Terrapins. It's Sterling along the near sideline who gives it off into the corner. LaPointe now will come back on for this Maryland offensive attack. And she'll be found right away. LaPointe going inside. That one batted out of the stick of Keeley Block. Loose near the crease. Ball still on the ground, and it's scooped up by Georgetown.
Nick, one of the things they tell you in broadcaster school is never say never, but the fact of the matter is this never happens. The Terps have been held off the board for almost 2 quarters. We're 3 minutes to go until halftime, and the Terps still have a big fat goose egg on the scoreboard. This just does not happen. Over the last 3 years, how many times they've been shut out in the first quarter? Once, and they scored early in the second. This is just something that Kathy Reese just cannot live with. I don't know what's going on with the offense today, but just know that you're watching this Terps team do something that they don't do really ever.
The Hoyas now with 2:40 to go and 50 on their shot clock. McGovern, the junior attack, will direct traffic from the right hash. McGovern now off to Davies. Davies trying to dance inside, makes her move. She'll now take it behind the net and dish it off. It's Steer. Steer looking in the center lane, and now the pass off to Driggs. Driggs finds a shot in the middle with Loschert, and it's turned away by Soriano. So Soriano certainly holding up her end of the bargain. And now Sterling will race it the other way. Sterling goes across to Shanahan. Shanahan, the pass in the middle.
Terps won a goal. It hit the crossbar, and they thought it bounced down into the triangle, but the referee said no initially. I think they're going to go to the monitor and look at this one. It does seem like Maryland's Keeley Block should have the opening goal for the Terps here.
We will get a review. Looked like that one might have just gone right below the bar and maybe caught a piece of the crossbar that kicked it back out, but Maryland hoping and praying that they finally have their first goal.
Yeah, hoping and praying is absolutely the right word choice here. I mean, we don't have a monitor up here in the booth. I think just, you know, if you're a Maryland fan, you would love for this to be a goal, and so maybe that's what your eyes saw. And I think if you're a Georgetown fan, you would love for this not to be a goal. So maybe that's what your eyes saw. But the people with the monitors are the ones that are going to make the decision here. So if it is a goal, Maryland can surmise just a tad bit of momentum going into halftime. But if it's not, it starts to look even more dire for the Terps.
Still waiting on the verdict of this review.
Nick, you made a comment a couple seconds ago that Soriano is holding up her end of the bargain, and she absolutely is. She's made 9 saves, and double-digit saves is a great night for most goalkeepers, and she's almost done that in half number 1. Yes, she has allowed 4 goals, but that's a .692 save percentage, which is, quite frankly, elite. I mean, she had almost a 77% save percentage against Syracuse, which is otherworldly, and in the Virginia game, where she played really well, it was about .490. So it's interesting to see how Soriano is adapted tonight, and regardless of what's happening on the other end, like you mentioned, Soriano certainly doing her part as one of this team's leaders.
Still awaiting the result of this review. It was Keely Block who had a great feed inside. The best look Maryland has had all night. And we'll see if they were able to cash in. Block the UPenn transfer. Had 3 goals and 6 shots on goal. Maryland's last time out against Virginia. A 19-game starter at Penn last season. Was a second-team All-Ivy who scored 42 times. Trying to peek in. There are 2 fans right in front of me who have the TV feed. Watching it in slow motion. I honestly can't tell still. Rolling on the field is a goal. So Maryland finally puts a tick on the board. It's now 4-1 with 1:39 remaining in this second quarter.
All you can do is start to make dents in this Georgetown lead. And it wasn't the prettiest goal. It wasn't even a goal when it initially happened, but the Terps got to take him any way they can get him. And maybe that's the straw that breaks the camel's back, per se. Maybe as we finish out this minute 40 of the first half and then move into half number 2, Coach Reese can pull a Bill Belichick and make some halftime adjustments and get the Terps right back into this one. We know they're capable. They just haven't shown it here tonight.
Still plenty of time before the half. Let's see if Gilmore can get a key draw control here for the Terps. Whistle blows. Ball is possessed by Maryland. Here goes Edmondson racing the other way. She'll back it out now as Keely Block and Lauren LaPointe will run back on for Maryland's offensive set. Block gives it off to Edmondson. Whistle blows. And it'll be a free position for Maryland. So a great chance here. It'll be Corey Edmondson. Edmondson, shot, wide of the net. Maryland retains possession. But an opportunity there missed. Now dancing inside and saved by Wareheim. Jordan Lipkin, the 5th year, who scored 40 goals in 21 games last year, got one on target. But Wareheim, who's played a stellar game so far, turns her away.
Yeah, it's the 3rd shot of the day for Lipkin, and she is still empty-handed. One of a plethora of Terps that are just ice cold tonight.
McGovern now finds Blix. The Hoyas working it around the perimeter. Game clock now inside of 30, down to 25. McGovern will back it out as the Hoyas get in their offensive set. Loschert now back to McGovern. McGovern's going to take a shot at Nevo Farrell. McGovern now running out of time. The Hoyas now with just 2 seconds to go, and they are not going to get a shot off as the halftime horn rings.
Poorly managed there from the Hoyas. They had the time. They had plenty of time, and it wasn't like the end of the first quarter where they could feel content just holding the ball. They were definitely trying to get a shot off, but all the better for the Terrapins because I think a goal there for the Hoyas would have been really devastating to see them get a goal back after the Terps scored their first in the second quarter.
Yeah, it seemed like they just weren't aware of that clock ticking down. But regardless, it's been a slow offensive effort so far from both teams. Just 5 goals scored in half number 1. But the Hoyas here at home hold a 3-goal lead as we will head into halftime with the score Georgetown 4 and the Terrapins 1.
This is Nick Coleman coming back to you at Cooper Field for women's lacrosse, where the Hoyas lead the Maryland Terrapins 4-1 at half. This is the 18th all-time meeting between the two clubs, where last year the Terps won a close one that finished 9-7. Georgetown's 2025 Big East Coach of the Year, Caitlin Phipps, is currently in control of this one heading into the third period. To add on, Georgetown's senior attack, Gracie Driggs, has been dangerous so far with 4 shots, a goal, and an assist. If Maryland wants to stay competitive in this one, they're going to need to quiet the Hoya attack and come up with some of their own. The Terrapins are looking to pull together some momentum, and this Maryland goal before the half could be the spark they're looking for going into the locker room and coming on back out.
Appreciate it, Nick. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. And again, you hit it exactly on the head. This is a matchup that the Terps have dominated in recent memory, but to be honest, this Georgetown team this year could be different than the ones that Maryland has faced in years past. Coach Phipps certainly thinks that. She's loved what she's seen out of her team after a 2-0 start. And if they play another solid half here at Cooper Field, they can be moving to 3-0 and take down the number 3 team in the country. Right here on WMUC Sports, I'm Peter Kelly, joined by Nick Polinsky and Nick Coleman, our sideline reporter who you just heard from. Opening draw control about to commence in quarter number 3, a fresh 15 on the scoreboard here at Georgetown University in the District of Columbia. We are so happy to be here, and we are so happy you are here with us this evening. It's Driggs for Georgetown, and it's Gilmore for Maryland. Referee puts the ball between their sticks. They stand on the Navy Georgetown G at the 50-yard line of Cooper Field. Nice Wednesday night crowd here to see the number 3 team in the country take on their hometown Hoyas. There's a big collision on the far side. Going down is Bix for Georgetown. And that violation is going to give it to the Hoyas, so they will retain the opening draw control of the second half. They lead it 4-1. Their goals came from Gracie Driggs, Anna McGovern, Sophie Loschert, and Molly Davies. Maryland's lone goal came with about 90 seconds to play in the first, and it came off of the cradle of Keely Block. So Georgetown starts with possession. They will move right to left in this quarter. They are on the left net. Standing between those pipes is J.J. Soriano, Maryland's goalkeeper. For Maryland in the road blacks, they'll be moving left to right. They'll shoot on the right net. Leah Wareheim is the keeper for Georgetown. She stands idle on the right side. Georgetown's got possession. They're looking for more. They got 4 already, and they're looking for a 5th. On the left side, Ziegler backs it out, goes in and out of the stick of Steer. Now with it is Lauren Steer, the junior from Lutherville, Maryland. Head faked inside, now backs it out, hands it off to Driggs. Driggs already a goal and an assist on the night. Now goes far side, McGovern. McGovern working at a one-on-one matchup, goes for the bouncer, and she gets it. Georgetown striking first here in the second.
That was just a very well-executed shot by Ann McGovern. A perfect bounce. It caught Soriano on a short hop. And just a textbook possession to open up the half for the Hoyas. A goal in just a minute 10.
So it is the Hoyas, the unranked team in this matchup here tonight, that now lead it once more by 4 goals, 5-1. The Georgetown Hoyas lead it over Maryland, the number 3 team in America. I know I say it a lot, but it's important, and this would be a monumental upset if the Hoyas could get this one done. And I mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, the Hoyas have actually never beat Maryland here at Cooper Field. Their wins in this series have all come in College Park, Maryland. So this would be historic if they could get it done against the Terps. Draw control between Gilmore and Driggs is won by the Terps. Corey Edmondson emerges from the fray for the team in black. Maryland on the right net. It's with Edmondson. She steps into one, and it's turned away by Wareheim.
Would have liked to see Edmondson take a few steps closer to that crease. Looked like she had some green in front of her. Opted to rip a shot from about 20 feet away and was turned away by Wareheim, who's having a great game.
Edmondson, one of those players that you take that shot, you just kind of have to live with it because they're just so capable of making them. But in that scenario, Maryland, a very short and very unproductive possession, not what they need, trailing at 5-1. Now on the far side, Driggs found Ziegler, who was cutting in, lost it, turned away by Soriano. And now getting the ground ball for Maryland is Schaefer. Schaefer burns past two Hoyas. She's got it at the 20-yard line, lobs it up the field. Catching it at the 50 is Lexi Dupac. Lexi Dupac with some room to run, now crosses the 30. They've got advantage. Now Shanahan's got it on the left hash, worked inside. Great defense, stifling by Christina King. Now to the right hash. Losing it on the inside is Maryland's Kayla Gilmore. She hits the deck, body's on the floor, and Georgetown comes away with it. Maryland still unable to get any spark going on the offensive end. 2.5 minutes have elapsed here in the third quarter. Again, Peter Kelly, Nick Polinsky with you tonight, along with Nick Coleman on the sidelines for us this evening. Maryland's number 3 team in America, just 1 goal through 2 quarters and change. They trail at 5-1 to the Hoyas. 3 minutes have gone by here in the third quarter. For Georgetown, it's Amanda Burrell with the ball in her stick. Now it's lobbed forward into the attacking third, Betsy Burton. McGovern on the far side. Gives it up top. Steer. Now to Burton. Left wing for Loschert. Now behind the cage to the X. Gracie Driggs. Far side driving goal line is McGovern. Dekes off the defender O'Farrell. Now lost it. O'Farrell with a nice clean check from behind to get the ball out of the cradle. But Georgetown equalizes. They cause a turnover on O'Farrell and they get possession back. This is Driggs getting the turnover for Georgetown. 11:20 to go. Lobbed in front. Diving attempt from Georgetown. And it's Sophia Loschert. Her second goal of the evening. And it puts the Hoyas up 6-1.
What a shot from Loschert. Off balance. In front of the crease. Going to the ground. Her stick was probably just about perpendicular to the ground when she made that shot. Still was able to rattle the cage. And now Georgetown up 6-1. And that's their quickest 2 goals they've scored at any point today. In games like this where the underdog is up on the big favorite at half, a lot of the times you think, okay, it's going to come out of the half and equal itself out. But no, Georgetown 3 goals in 3 minutes and change, and Maryland still yet to scratch across in the second half.
Draw control is Driggs for Georgetown and Gilmore for Maryland. They stand on the Navy G at midfield. 11:19, the clock is stopped in the third quarter. Georgetown, their biggest lead of the evening, 6-1. Maryland wins the draw control with Kayla Gilmore. And it's a big possession upcoming for the Terps. Corey Edmondson picks up the ball with her cradle. Both teams come into this one 2-0, and in last year's matchup, first-year head coach Caitlin Phipps, the Maryland alum and quite the star at Maryland under Coach Reese, actually kept it close, the closest that the matchup has been in some time. It was just 9-7. Maryland still took it in College Park, but Georgetown actually won a lot of the stat battles. In particular, Maryland had 21 turnovers to Georgetown's 14, and Georgetown actually put more shots on net. 22-19, they won that battle, but where that game was won and lost was in the center circle. Maryland controlled the draw controls 16-4. That has not been the story tonight. Georgetown leads that battle 5-3, and it's been the reason that they lead this one by 5 goals.
And Peter, Maryland's now man up. It's Gracie Driggs off for a 2-minute penalty on the yellow card, so perhaps a chance for the Terps.
Terps swing it around the circle. It's Shanahan on the left hash. Dumps it down low. Give and go inside for a block, and she is stifled, but the second chance is there. And it's Jordan Lipkin getting the second Terps goal of the afternoon. Lipkin, a hat trick, the first of her career last week. And now tonight, she gets the goal that's much needed to stop this bleeding.
Just a great job by Lipkin. Right spot, right time. Able to catch that rebound. Believe it was Block who put in the initial shot. Just popped right into her stick and was ready to fire. Still plenty of time in this game. Maryland easily capable of scoring 4 goals in 26 total minutes of game time, but the question is, can they keep Georgetown off the board while doing so?
Each draw control gets more pivotal than the last. And this time in for Georgetown, it's Della Goodman. into the center circle with Driggs, as you mentioned, sideline, still with 1:40 on the power play for Maryland. They scored just 20 seconds into their first power play of the evening, and now still man up. Maybe they can strike again. Gilmore wins the draw control for Maryland. She's harassed by 3 white jerseys, but she gets it away to Edmondson, and the Terps bring it into the attacking third. Driving left hash is Shanahan. She backs it out. Marked up nicely by Trinity Kocha. Left end zone behind the cage for Maryland is Ava Mine. Now right side LaPointe, left side Mine. Left hash at the 10-yard line is Shanahan. Now at the top of the key, the point guard Edmondson. Over to Shanahan. Shanahan drives left post, thought about a shot, couldn't get the angle. Now brings it back out. Lipkin to Edmondson. Edmondson defended by King. Behind the cage, LaPointe. LaPointe gives a stutter step, finds the open woman, and Dupat cannot finish. She sends it high and left, but Terps have the backup. Ava Mine is there, and the Maryland Terrapins will get possession back. Entry pass inside from Shanahan is tipped away. Up in the air, it's loose. Both teams searching for this ground ball. Edmondson hit the deck, and they're going to call it Maryland ball after the contact on Corey Edmondson. Georgetown fans not liking it, a sequence of calls that didn't go their way. 24 seconds to go on the power play. Gracie Driggs still out of action. Maryland trailing this one 6-2. Georgetown leading as the unranked team. They lead it by 4 goals over the number 3 team in the nation. 9:39 to go in the third quarter. Again, Peter Kelly, Nick Polinsky, Nick Coleman with you on WMUC Sports this evening on site at Cooper Field, the home of Georgetown football, field hockey, men's lacrosse, and the sport we're getting to watch tonight. It's been such a treat, women's lacrosse. So Maryland will get possession after this elongated stoppage, and Kayla Gilmore will put it back into play to Edmondson, left side, Shanahan. Down low behind the cage is the X block. Block brings it across the touchline. Now back up top for Edmondson. Left side, Shanahan. Give and go inside to Lipkin. She's shoved as she released it, and she could not put the shot on target. Terps get the backup, though. Here's Mine. Actually, it's LaPointe. LaPointe comes around the right side of the cage. Referee's hand in the air. And this one is a violation against Georgetown. So it sets up a free position shot for the Terrapins. And with the ball in her stick, it's Kristen Shanahan, the Notre Dame transfer, trying to cut the lead to 3. Shanahan drives in from the left hash, stopped by Wareheim. Another huge save from the graduate student goalkeeper, and Maryland kept off the board once more. 6-2 Georgetown, still in front. They do still have to clear it. Maryland has kind of struggled on the ride this year. They've allowed 97% of clears to happen. And now Georgetown does clear it without much contest from the Terps. So bringing it across is Betsy Burton. And now it's with Ann McGovern. 8.5 to play in the third quarter. 6-2 Georgetown. McGovern throws it away. So a huge turnover, not necessarily forced by Maryland, but they will certainly take it nonetheless.
Haven't seen a ton of those kinds of errors from the Hoyas today. It's been a reason why they've been able to stay ahead despite a low-scoring game. They've controlled the ball and not able to do so there, and hopefully Maryland can capitalize off it.
Right side block, now in the end zone for LaPointe, swings it to Mine. Mine now on the left side. Up top, Lipkin. Lipkin just had the most recent goal for the Terps, swings it to the right hash for block. They swing it once more. LaPointe, spin move, goes right post, misses. From a very tight angle, she threw it right across the net. Maryland's there on the backup. Shanahan picks it up. 51 seconds on the shot clock, 7:38 in the quarter. 6-2 Hoyas lead. Right hash Maryland. Kayla Gilmore. Now right end zone LaPointe, behind the cage directly. Lobbed inside for Lipkin. She gets back-to-back goals. And now the lead is 6-3. Georgetown still in control, but Maryland's starting to wake up. Jordan Lipkin gets back-to-back goals.
And a great find there out from behind the net. Found Lipkin in front of the crease. And now we'll get a timeout from the Hoyas as Maryland draws closer. Now just trailing by 3.
6-3. Georgetown still leads it, the unranked team at 2-0, leading the ranked team at 2-0, Maryland But Jordan Lipkin has scored both Terps goals here in the third quarter. In the second half, 7:24 to play in this quarter number 3. Timeout is called just about halfway through the third quarter here at Cooper Field. 6-3 Hoyas lead it. We will take a very short break here on WMUC Sports.
The Hoyas have continued to pour it on in the back half of this one, with 2 players now scoring multiple goals, but they can't be satisfied. We've seen what this Terrapin attack is capable of, and with that being said, though, they're still finding their rhythm tonight. Maryland is going to have to play this game one possession at a time.
Appreciate it as always, Nick. Yeah, Nick Coleman, our sideline reporter for this evening. Draw control about to happen after the Terps score their third goal of the evening and their second goal of the quarter, both off the stick of Jordan Lipkin. And actually, she came into this game with 99 career points. So the first goal she scored a couple minutes back in this third quarter was her 100th career point. So congratulations to Jordan Lipkin, the graduate student from Short Hills, New Jersey. She certainly bode her time with this program. And now she's in a starting role in the spotlight. And she's part of the reason that the Terps are potentially back in this game. So draw control, Gracie Driggs is back in for Georgetown after serving the penalty, and Kayla Gilmore, the mainstay, is in for Maryland. The referee puts it between the sticks, 7:24 to go in the third quarter. Whistle blown, hand in the air, ball in the air. Ball on the ground, and Georgetown comes away with it. Gracie Driggs does a nice job to win that draw control. So the Hoyas get possession. Again, they're on the left net tonight in their home whites with navy numerals and navy sleeves. Maryland in the road blacks with gold numerals, red terrapins across the front. 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Hoyas lead it 6-3 over the number 3 team in the country, the Maryland Terrapins. Peter Kelly, Nick Polinsky, Nick Coleman here with you on WMUC Sports Radio. Very quick passes from Georgetown, but not with a lot of intent. They're just lobbing it very far outside the semicircle. Maryland not applying much pressure. Still 50 seconds on the shot clock. On the left side is Sophia Laschert. The sophomore has 2 goals today for Georgetown. Now far side, it's with Molly Davies. Up top for Ann McGovern. 6.5 to go in the third. Left goal line with Driggs, top key for Ann McGovern. McGovern wants to take it herself. Spins off the defender, now lobs it to Davies on the right hash. Molly Davies finds inside the cutter, Laschert. She couldn't get her stick to it, and Maryland comes away with it. They force the turnover, and coming away with it is the sub, Devin Livingston. And immediately Livingston is pushed to the ground. Maryland wants a yellow card of some sort. It will be Maryland possession. It will be nothing more. Livingston was absolutely bodied after she came up with the ground ball. Again, 6-3, the Georgetown Hoyas lead this one over the Maryland Terrapins in what has become a classic rivalry between the two teams in the DMV. Tonight's game is at Georgetown in Washington, D.C., in the neighborhood of Georgetown, and almost in Virginia, just across the canal would take you into Nova. But we did not cross the canal. We're right here in the district, and we're happy you are here with us tonight. Maryland breaks the press. LaPointe's got it in the end zone. Hoyas across in gold of the navy blue end zone of Cooper Field, also the football field for the Georgetown Hoyas. Corey Edmondson at the top of the key. Now Now left goal line for LaPointe, behind the cage. Now Shanahan. Shanahan drives left hash. Shakes off a defender, fires a shot and misses long, but Maryland's there on the backup. Lauren LaPointe gets her stick there first, and it's a fresh 60 on the shot clock for Maryland. LaPointe up top for Edmondson. Right hash, block, wanted to step into one, now gives it up. Inside is Gilmore. Gilmore backs it out, defended by King. Now with Edmondson, drove inside, kicks to Shanahan. Shanahan moves past one and gets the goal. Kristen Shanahan gets her first of the evening, and all of a sudden, the Terps right back into this one. They trail it now 6-4. They've got the last 3 goals.
Shanahan's 4th of the season. She was 2nd on the Notre Dame squad in goals last year with 27. Shanahan now in year number 6. She did not play her freshman and senior years for medical reasons. Granted 2 extra redshirt years in Shanahan, making it pay off. Here is a grad student with the Terrapins, and she now claws them back to just down 2.
It's certainly been a story of 2 halves for the Terrapins and the Hoyas. Maryland 3 goals coming in the third quarter after they were held scoreless for the first about 29 minutes of game time. It took them until 1:30 to go in the first half to get their first tally. But now they win this draw control, and they're looking for more. Kayla Gilmore's been great in the third quarter, as have much of this Terrapins team. They've certainly been rejuvenated by what Coach Kathy Reese said to them in the locker room. Lauren LaPointe lobs it back up top for Lipkin. Now over to Edmondson, the left hash at the 15-yard line. Shanahan now at the 10-yard line, across the field, near hash Edmondson. Goal line LaPointe up top, Edmondson. Swings it, Shanahan, marked up by 2. Gives it up to Edmondson, drives inside. Goes behind the cage, LaPointe. Across the court. Turned away 2 times by Wareheim. And Georgetown is there for the backup. They retain possession, so they stifle the Maryland attack there. 2 shots on goal again for Maryland, and Ava Mine, the freshman for Maryland, is slow to get up.
Looked like Mine took some contact on that shot attempt. Sailed it just wide of the net. A good backup by Georgetown to win possession off the miss. Seemed like Maryland was starting to have the Hoyas on the ropes. But Georgetown now will gain offensive possession back with 4:16 left in quarter number 3.
Georgetown gets possession. Checked away by Maryland. Keeley blocked the attacker, forcing a turnover there. Georgetown unable to clear it, just a one-on-one ride. Maryland gets the turnover, and they're looking for more. Behind the cage, Shanahan looking for a cutter. She can't find one. Now up top, Edmondson. Bodies off a defender, now backs it out. Good solid defense over there by Betsy Burton. Edmondson throws this one away, and it seems like they're going to fix something with the shot clock. The game clock is running, and it's a free position shot for Maryland, and it's Corey Edmondson. Edmondson drives in from the right hash, falling to the turf, and she cannot get a shot off. Great defense from Georgetown, led by Christina King. The sophomore from Baltimore has been sensational on the back line for the Hoyas. Georgetown takes it away. They get possession. And with 3:12 to go, the Hoyas, on a 3-0 run for Maryland, are trying to get back in the score sheet. There's a whistle. The ball very near the out-of-bounds line on the near side, deep in Maryland territory. Georgetown will retain it. It'll be Sophia Loschert to start up this possession. In the third quarter in particular, you mentioned in the first half, Nick, Maryland just couldn't get enough shots off. They were outshot 18-8 in the first 2 quarters, but here in the third, it's been a different story. Terps lead the battle 11-3. So a tick under 3 minutes to go in quarter number 3, 2:59 to be exact. 6-4 Hoyas lead it over the Terrapins. Peter Kelly, Nick Polinsky here with you tonight. Nick Coleman on the sidelines for us. We've got it all for you on WMUC Sports.
Georgetown's actually going to be a woman up. It was a green card on Lila and Grilly. She'll sit out for a 1-minute penalty.
So Georgetown has scored on a power play before. Can they again? At the top of the play is Lashert. Now far side. Backing it out is Davies. About 30 seconds to go on that power play. Steer didn't like what she saw, so she brings it back out to McGovern. Now it's near side. Lashert up top. Anna McGovern. 2:20 to play. 20 seconds for Maryland to kill this power play. Georgetown lead it by 2, 6-4. At the left hash, Driggs. At the right hash is Burton. Lobbing it inside, back to Driggs. And a huge save by Soriano. J.J. Soriano gets save number 11 on the evening. And with under 2 minutes to play, the Terps can cut the deficit in half. They trail at 6-4, and a goal could give them the closest it's been since it was 1-0. Atop the play is Jordan Lipkin. Now on the right hash for Keely Block. Into the end zone for LaPointe. Has mine behind the cage as well. Now she's going to drive herself, avoiding the crease. She didn't get a shot she liked, so she kicks it back out to Edmondson at the top. Back to LaPointe, who drove in from the left side. Couldn't get a good shot, and it's stopped away by Lexi Wareheim. Georgetown looking to clear this one away. Danica Blix brings it across the 50-yard line. They've still got some work to do with the ball still in midfield. Blix throws it across the field, and it's tipped away by Maryland's Keely Block, but Georgetown gets to it first. Betsy Burton came up with it for the Hoyas, and they keep possession under a minute to play in the third. 50 seconds to go in the third period. 6-4 Hoyas. And it does seem like Coach Caitlin Phipps will use a timeout here. 48.8 to go. So the teams will talk it over. The shot clock exceeds the game clock, so Georgetown can hold for the last shot if that is what they choose to do. They've been held off the score sheet for quite some time. Their last goal came at the 11:36 mark of the third, so it's been about 11 minutes since they've scored. That was Sophia Lasher getting her second of the game. But since then, it's been all Maryland. They've scored the last 3. They still trail at 6-4. But if you just look at that small sample size of the third quarter, it's been the Terps who have been dominant.
Yeah, the tides have been turning in the last few minutes. As you just mentioned, Georgetown hasn't scored since just under 12 minutes remaining in quarter number 3. The last 3 goals for the Terps. 2 from Jordan Lipkin, who had 40 in 21 games last season. Georgetown now wants a timeout. We saw them mismanage a late clock scenario at the end of half number 1. Coach Caitlin Phipps perhaps taking a timeout to avoid a similar mishap to end the third quarter. Though it is just the quarter break rather than the half. Phipps off the Kathy Reese coaching tree. Her second season at Georgetown after 12 seasons as an assistant at the University of Maryland. Was the 2025 Big East Coach of the Year. Her team breaks the huddle to a resounding applause from this Georgetown side, who have certainly had something to cheer about tonight.
It's a beautiful Wednesday evening here in the district. 51 degrees here in Washington, D.C., and they rain tomorrow. But for tonight, it is clear skies with the last traces of snow still lingering on the sideline. 48.8 seconds to go. If they want it, Georgetown can hold for the final shot. It seems like that is what they will do, as They are in no rush to get anything going here. They swing it all the way around the wheel. 35 seconds. Clock running. Shot clock running too. It doesn't matter. It's exceeding the game clock. Hoyas lead at 6-4. Now under 30 seconds to play in the third. On the far side, Steer. Lawrence Steer charging in on Maryland's defense. Major was there to stop it for the Terps. Now 15 seconds. McGovern. Swing pass. Burton. Now Woods. Up top for McGovern. Shook off the defender. 8 seconds. McGovern drives inside the semicircle. Finds the wide open girl. And she can't get it to go. And that is how the third quarter will end. Kennedy Major hits the ground hard for the Terps. They want a card of some sort, and the yellow card does come out of the pocket. In any event, the third quarter ends uneventfully for Georgetown. They had 45 seconds to get a play that they liked, and they couldn't get a shot on target that could fall. Another great save by Soriano there made it possible, of course. They're actually going to put 1.2 back on the clock here in the third, as Major was tripped up from Maryland with just a shade of time left. So Maryland having to go about 110 yards to score. They're not going to be able to do anything here. So in my educated opinion, why would we even stop the clock at this point? But they're going to go to the monitor and check on it. As it stands now, it is a green card, 1 minute penalty on Reagan Ziegler, the junior from Hickson, Tennessee for Georgetown, after she gave Kennedy Major a big push to the turf.
That was just a bit of a foolish play by Ziegler on that far side. As you just mentioned, Maryland's about the entire football field's length away from their goal, and Ziegler just a two-hand push, or check rather, into the back of Major. We'll see if that proves to be important to start the fourth quarter with Maryland having an advantage.
Could have possibly been a sense of frustration too after, like you mentioned, they squandered a late clock opportunity in the second quarter, and now here in the third again, they couldn't get a goal after purposely holding for the last shot. They drained so much time off the clock, not being productive, that maybe it limited their offensive opportunities instead of they had just approached it like a normal possession. So the referees come away from the monitor. They're explaining it to Maryland coaches. Kathy Reese is over there, and she's assisted this year by Lori Keenis, Alex Ost-Holman, Nadine Hadnaggy, and Carolina Steele. They get the explanation. 1.2 on the clock. Again, Maryland, no chance to do anything here as we just wait for the second to tick off and then send us to the third quarter break. We're waiting right with you here on WMUC Sports, but now they will run the clock and the third quarter will finally come to an end. So 1 second drips off the penalty kill. 59 seconds will be the Terps power play as we start the fourth, as it's Reagan Ziegler in the sin bin. But as it stands, the Terps getting their get back a little bit in the third. 6-4, they now trail it. But considering it was 6-1, just about 12 minutes to go, getting those last 3 goals, in particular 2 from Jordan Lipkin, made it possible that maybe they can come from behind and secure a solid win on the road against Georgetown.
Yeah, Maryland's got a ton of momentum right now. In the last 11 minutes, 3 goals have been scored. All have been from the Terps. And it's still been a relatively slow offensive effort. Maryland scored 17 goals last time out against number 12 Virginia. They could use some of that pace here in quarter number 4 to vault themselves ahead, but Georgetown's also played very well. Leah Wareheim saving 2/3 of the shots on goal today.
6-4 Hoyas lead this one over the Terrapins. We'll take just a very short break here on WMUC Sports. 15 minutes to go. You don't want to miss the end of this one.
All right. Looks like Maryland started to find their groove here on offense there in the third quarter. They've been able to create turnovers and cash in on scoring opportunities. The Hoyas can't afford to get complacent here. Both teams still appear to have a lot of fight in them, and we should be seeing a competitive final period coming up here. Back to you, Nick.
Thanks. It's been a slobber knocker so far, just 10 goals in 45 minutes of play. And here we go into quarter number 4.
It feels like so obvious to say this, but the fourth quarter of this game by far the most important, and I think that statement has a lot more meaning than may initially meet the eye, because Georgetown led this one 4-0 at one point. They led it 6-1 at one point, but Maryland's starting to get that momentum back. It's been a much more even contest over the last quarter of play, so I think this fourth quarter is really going to show us both teams at their fullest as they're both prepared for this late season or late regular season. Well, I'll just leave that one where it is. It's not late in either.
Here we go. Quarter number 4. The 15-minute clock begins, and it'll be Maryland having possession. Edmondson scanning. Finds LaPointe. The Terps now working behind the goal. Find Gilmore up top. Shanahan now. Off to Mine. Now coming around the far side is LaPointe. It's now Shanahan trying to find her shot. Has it knocked out of her stick. Maryland will pick it back up with Mine. The freshman attacker has been active on the offensive end today. And now Edmondson finds LaPointe. LaPointe finds in the lane Lipkin, who had a chance for her third goal of the day. Couldn't get it. But Maryland wins possession back. Gilmore finds Edmondson. Tries to shake and bake. Can't shake off the defender, Christina King. Maryland now behind the goal. And a score. Lauren LaPointe sneaking around that near pipe and puts one in at the feet of Leah Wareheim.
It is a whole new ball game in the District of Columbia. LaPointe, she's been lingering behind the cage all night, and she's been searching for that shot where she can just sneak one inside the near post. She finally got that one to go, snuck it past Leah Wareheim. LaPointe on the board here tonight. It's her first goal of the evening, but for the team leader in points, it's her 7th goal of the year.
LaPointe had the game-winning goal against Georgetown exactly 1 year ago. This time she brings the Terps back within 1. A key draw control now as Gilmore and Driggs stand at the logo. The whistle blows, and Maryland wins it. Edmondson scoops it up, and here go the Terps. Shanahan will rotate it around to Ava Mine. Mine finds Edmondson, who stepped in briefly and will draw it back out. LaPointe now on the far side, swings it to Dupac. LaPointe now probing behind the net. Edmondson scanning inside. She gets it to Keely Block. Terps looking a bit more in order there. Nearly a pass off the mark. Ball loose inside, and Georgetown picks it up. And now it's the Hoyas going the other way. Struggle initially to clear it, but now they do so. As here go the Hoyas. Davies now gets it out to McGovern. Maryland down just a goal. It's 6-5. 12:20 to play in quarter number 4. Driggs rotates around for McGovern. Had 5 goals on Valentine's Day against Towson. Looking for one here and just off the mark. Georgetown retains possession.
McGovern went sidearm there. She tried to sneak it past Suriano, but she just missed the cage.
Loschert now ducking inside, and Suriano stonewalls her. Ball loose on the ground. And we'll get a push on Maryland as Georgetown will get possession right back. Zooming the other way. Looked like that may have gone in. Pushing it the other way is Nevo Farrell, and now we'll get a whistle.
Yeah, it does seem like a goal may be incoming for Georgetown. We saw this happen in the first half for Keely Block for Maryland, where they went to the monitor and eventually called it a goal. But after that one, the entire Georgetown bench and cheering section got up in arms and started frantically pleading their case.
I wasn't sure in that first one from Block, but that one from McGovern definitely looked like she caught the inside of the net.
Obviously a critical moment in this game, so the referees will certainly take their time here and get this one right. But if it is a goal for Georgetown, they will get their first goal in about a full quarter of game time. They haven't scored since the 11:30 mark of the third quarter. So it would be a huge one for them to stop the Maryland run and extend their lead, trying to pull off this big upset.
Seemed like Maryland had all the momentum, but maybe a swing in the other direction here. We'll take a short break and return with the official verdict here on WMUC Sports. Back here on WMUC Sports, I'm Nick Polinsky, joined by Peter Kelly and Nick Coleman. The official verdict, a goal for Gracie Driggs. Georgetown now leads 7-5. It's Driggs' second of the day, her 4th point. And a big one for the Hoyas at that. .11:38 left in quarter number 4. Driggs and Gilmore will once again go to battle on the draw control, and quickly won by Kayla Gilmore. She'll now check out, and Keely Block will come on. Block, the first goal scorer of the day for the Terps. Maryland now swings it around the perimeter. A high pass reined in behind the net by LaPointe. She'll get it back now, working from that X position. That one batted away. Edmondson scoops it right back up. And now Mine working around, finding Shanahan inside. Shanahan scores! So Georgetown punches, and the Terps punch right back. It's 7-6 with 10:57 left in this 4th quarter.
Another great goal for Kristen Shanahan, and a great call by yourself, Nick. And you mentioned it, the Terps punching right back after Georgetown got their 7th goal. The Terps get their 6th. So now it's 7-6. Hoya is still in front. Maryland hasn't led all game, but this is the closest they've ever been. Shanahan with back-to-back goals for the Terps.
Maryland now on a 5-1 run, spanning all the way back to the 10:55 mark of quarter number 3. It's been Lipkin twice, Shanahan twice, LaPointe once, and Maryland within just a goal's difference. A key draw control here. Whistle blows, and Gilmore with another big win. Gilmore now racing the other way. She'll get rid of it, and she is replaced on the field by Block once again. Now behind the net, it's Mine. Mine finds Edmondson. On the far side is Dupac. A nice grab there by Mine to keep possession. Got a bit handcuffed on that pass receive. As now Shanahan will fake in and back it out. Keeley Block. Scanning, now finding Shanahan, who goes inside, and that one may have caught some stick of Leo Wareheim from Dupac, but Maryland retains possession. Maryland now goes outside for Edmondson. Right back to Dupac. Dupac. Now to the point, who gets rid of it. Shanahan. Now from straight away. Passes it off. The pass inside in the equalizer from Lexi Dupac. Her third goal of the year. And Maryland is all even.
Lexi Dupac had 2 career goals coming into this year, and now we're third on the season, and it could not have come at a much better time. It equalizes us at 7. And how about Dupac? She's been doing her role right all night. She's been doing her part all season. And now with the equalizer.
And a timeout from Georgetown as Maryland, despite starting the game down 6-1, has stormed all the way back to even it up at 7. We will take a short break here on WMUC Sports. And when we come back, the final few minutes of what's been an outstanding matchup between the Maryland Terrapins and the Georgetown Hoyas.
This game has been an exciting back and forth feud in the fourth quarter, and I think this one will come down to who's going to be a playmaker and who's going to make a play. Both Maryland and Georgetown have the athletes to win this game and continue their perfect season. There's still plenty of time left in this one for more action. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Nick. And we are in for an outstanding finish here at Cooper Field here in the District of Columbia. One of the keys to this fourth quarter, draw controls, Maryland 3, Georgetown zip. And Maryland finally taking advantage of their wins.
This has been such a fun game to be here for at Cooper Field at Georgetown. But I feel like some of the Terps fans that made the trip down from College Park might feel a little bit cheated because I think they're only seeing their Terrapins team for this final half. I think in the first half we saw a different team that was out there on the turf, and one that we haven't really seen in Kathy Reese's tenure, a team that couldn't score for the first 28 minutes of game time. But now this is finally the number 3 team in America that we all wanted to see.
Another clean win from Gilmore, and Maryland is out and running. Gilmore over to Shanahan. Shanahan behind the net for Mine. Dupac, the most recent goal scorer, finds Block, the first of the day for Maryland. Lipkin now, who has 2 goals of her own, dances along the far side. And now LaPointe spinning out from behind the net. She'll back it out to Dupac. Block now. Finds Shanahan. Shanahan work inside. Shanahan scores! Maryland in the lead Once down 6-1. Now up 8-7.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable what we're seeing here from the Maryland Terrapins. And unbelievable may not be the right word, because it is believable to see this Terps team go on a run like this. You mentioned they were down 6-1, and now they're up 8-7. That's a 7-1 run that the Terps have been on, and we know they're capable of it. We've always known, but we just didn't see that team in the first half. But now we are being absolutely treated. And that one's Kristen Shanahan. It's a hat trick for her.
That one flies up in the air, and Georgetown finally wins the fourth quarter draw control. Racing the other way is Lacrosse. She'll back it out now for McGovern. It's a big possession here for the Hoyas. Feels like all the momentum is swung the other way. Can they even it back out? 8:35 left in this fourth quarter. And it's McGovern taking command. Steer now. Swings it over out from behind the net. It's Driggs. McGovern now looking to make her move. Guarded closely by Dupac. And now Driggs will try and make her move. She's got 2 goals today. Steer now, trying to get to that left side. She's walled off well by Lila Ingrilli, the freshman defender. Some stout defense here from the Terps. Danica Blix now swings it back for McGovern. She'll cross behind the net and now give it off to Davies. Georgetown running out of time, 12 on the clock. Loschert's got to make a move. Going back out for Ziegler. Georgetown's going to have to get a shot. 4 on the clock. From behind the net, McGovern scores! It'll be waved off by the referees. A yellow card on Georgetown. And Maryland will stay ahead.
A lengthy possession that the Terps had to ward off the Hoya attack, and I'm surprised they got as good of a shot as they did after the shot clock was winding down, and it seemed like they might have to force something. But it was actually one of their best players, McGovern, who had some space on the near post. They're going to go to the monitor, it seems, so they'll take a short timeout. It's such a big goal in this game if it does go down, but the penalty is actually on McGovern, so it's such a swing. If they wave it off, the goal counts and we're tied up at 8, but if they don't, the Terps still lead it, and they have a man-up opportunity.
We will get another key review here in this fourth quarter. Will it be the equalizer, or will it be Maryland possession when we come back with 7:32 to go in this fourth quarter on WMUC Sports? Stick around. Back here at Cooper Field, and it is no goal, waved off, a 2-minute penalty for Ann McGovern as Maryland had their heart dropped and then revived right after. Still in the lead. It's 8-7 with 7:32 to go. And Maryland will possess.
What a big swing. Georgetown now with the man down disadvantage, and they have one of their best players off the field for the next 2 minutes.
We'll see if Maryland can get a good attack opportunity during this penalty window. It's LaPointe from behind the net. Defended well by Amanda Brile. Edmondson now finds Shanahan. No real threat yet for the Terps this offensive possession. Just about halfway through their shot clock. Now reads 45. Shanahan now. And a flag goes up. And a free position coming for the Terps. It'll be Kristen Shanahan. Shanahan, already 3 goals on the day. Make it 4! Shanahan puts the Terps up 2. Just 6:25 to go in this fourth quarter.
Well, I know there's still time left in this one, but it kind of feels like Kristen Shanahan may have just put the Hoyas to bed. The Terps now lead this one 9-7. They've come all the way back and then some. They now lead it by 2. And for Georgetown to come back into this one, they're going to need to do something that they haven't done in about a quarter and a half of gameplay, which is scored 2 goals. And understandably, there's going to be some ire from the Georgetown fans after their equalizing goal was disallowed. But the call was the call, and Maryland will certainly take it as they now lead this one 9-7 with 6.5 to play.
A key draw control here. The Hoyas have to have it. They want to stay alive in this one. Otherwise, Maryland may be able to put this one to bed. Ball up. Ball still loose. Still on the ground and racing after it is Dupac. She wins possession for the Terps. She'll swing it to the far side. Nev O'Farrell. O'Farrell now to Lipkin, who goes across for Maddie Sterling, the defender. Sterling the one to clear it. Maryland now with inside of 6 minutes to go. Shanahan left wing. Now a rotation to the other side for Block. Working out from behind the net is LaPointe. LaPointe spins, and a great save by Leah Wareheim. It's been a while since we've called her name. It's been a tale of 2 halves for her, but a key save there to keep Georgetown in this one. Steer now racing the other way. Georgetown has to work with some tempo. Still 2 goals to get now in the last 5 minutes and 10 seconds. It's 9-7 Terps. And Lashert now in the blue painted end zone. Rotated around for Ziegler. Around the wheel go the Hoyas, as Lashert now finally makes the first move. And we will get a penalty on the Hoyas. A violation swings possession back to the Terrapins. And they can salt this one all the way down to nearly 3 minutes of game clock if they choose to. It's Annabella Schaefer, the defender, the one to clear it.
It's unfortunate. It seems like every time Georgetown is close to an equalizer, there's a whistle blown and they commit a violation, and it gives it back to the Terps. They just cannot afford to have these whistles keep coming in as they trail this one 9-7.
Maryland now slowing the pace. Lipkin for LaPointe. LaPointe's been active from that X spot. LaPointe now a clean spin and on the ground and in the goal! Maryland could have ran the clock down another 45 seconds. Instead, they extend the lead to 3 and put the Hoyas down to their final breath.
You just cannot say enough about Lauren LaPointe. She's so special in open play, but when she is in that X roll behind the cage, she's really unstoppable. That's one of her best moves of the night. She was faking back to her right, then just gave a little shake and bake. She lost the defense, wrapped it around the near post, and it's a 10-7 lead for Maryland. Lauren LaPointe with maybe the goal of the night.
As you mentioned, an outstanding spin move to free herself. And she's been active near that crease all night long. And with 3:45 left in this fourth quarter, Maryland now leads 10-7. It is a 10-1 run.
I can't remember the last time I've seen a game of really any sport be this two-halvish, where the first half was just completely skewed towards one team, and then the second half was completely skewed towards the other team. But credit to Maryland, they made the halftime adjustments, and 9 goals in the second half. That's pretty special.
Another draw control for the Terps, and now we'll see if they make a more concerted effort to bleed this clock down. They can do so to just about 2 minutes and 10 seconds remaining. As Block now will slow play along the perimeter for the Terps. Shanahan looking over to the bench for some direction. And she will play it slow, hovering it just about the block number 20.
Yeah, there's no reason not to run this clock down. And realistically, you've given yourself the cushion now that if you had an open lane, you should take it. You lead it by 3. But at the end of the day, just get out with the road win and take no chances.
Well, you will get a penalty on the Hoyas and another golden opportunity to come for the Terps. It'll be Ava Mine, the freshman attack, to take the free position. Mine will pass it out instead. Maryland will salt away the rest of this 25-second shot clock. Now to the far side with Edmondson. LaPointe working once again from behind the net. Ball loose. Still on ground. Scooped up by the Terps briefly. And now repossessed again. No reset to the shot clock. It's now at 4. Inside, Dupac. Actually, that was Lipkin. Skies one. Shot clock goes off. And Georgetown will have possession with 1:34 to go. We'll get a whistle and a stoppage of play for an injury back in the Georgetown defensive half. Looks like Molly Wood, the junior midfielder, ended up with a flat tire. So she will come off one shoed. And the Hoyas will possess all the way back in their defensive end. Now just with 1:30 to go. Gracie Driggs trying to make some magic happen late in this one. Driggs, who's defended by Maddie Sterling. She'll dump it off to Lashert. Spins inside. Lashert. An offensive foul.
Yeah, it's about as clear as it gets, and Georgetown really had no choice. They had to just start putting pedal to the metal, and Lashert took matters into her own hands, but she charged right into the Maryland defender, giving it right back to the Terps, and they can just trickle out this clock.
The game clock now inside of the shot clock by about 30 seconds. And Maryland will just circle this one around. And after a 6-1 deficit, they will exit the victors. It was 6-1 with 11:36 left in the third quarter. And after that, a 9-1 Maryland run. Edmondson now will rotate around to Lipkin. Maryland continues to just circle this one out. Lipkin to Dupac. 5 ticks to go. And Lipkin will have it when time expires. Maryland comes to Georgetown and climbs the mountain to win 10-7. What a game on a beautiful night here in Washington, D.C. Kristen Shanahan, 4 goals. Lipkin in a point with 2 of their own. And Peter, we were treated to one tonight.
Yeah, so many takeaways from this game. I think if you're just a casual observer and you're glancing through the box scores and you see, wait, Maryland, the number 3 team in the country, only beat Georgetown by 3. They must not be that good this year. That does not tell that full story of this game. They won at 10-7, but they really were losing 6-1 at one point. You thought that there was no way that they could come back. Credit to Georgetown. This is a very different Georgetown team than Maryland has had to contend with in the past. They're coached really well by Coach Caitlin Phipps, the Maryland alum under Coach Kathy Reese as a player. They've certainly got a long, positive journey in front of them for the rest of this season, but Maryland just showing the resilience needed to come on the road and get a win. It's their second road win in as many chances. They advanced to a perfect 3-0 to start out the season. And Maryland was led by their stars. Shanahan, 4 goals like you mentioned. Jordan Lipkin, another 3-point afternoon, 2 goals and an assist. And Lauren LaPointe with the clincher. She also had 2 goals on the night. Just a battle of 2 good teams. One is ranked, one is not, but that does not tell the story of what we saw tonight. An absolute pleasure to be here with you, Nick, and Nick Coleman, our sideline reporter. But just such a joy to be able to watch these 2 phenomenal teams go at it on this Wednesday night.
In half number 1, Maryland had just 2 draw controls. In half number 2, 9 draw control wins for the Terrapins. Kayla Gilmore took over, and the Terrapins took advantage. For Nick Polinsky and Peter Kelly, as well as Nick Coleman on our sideline, signing off from Georgetown. The Maryland Terrapins win 10-7 over the Hoyas. Good night, everybody.